We often use the blend tool in our workflow, and we use it in a lot of different ways. One simple way is to create a shadow. For example, this X, we want to give it a drop shadow. There's a number of ways to do it. You can use the drop shadow tool. You could take the same exact shape and place it behind it and do something like that. But what happens is we're dealing with these weird gaps. Let's say like we want the shadow to be a little more seamless, that it's actually connecting to it with a light source. In order to do that, basically all you have to do is create that exact same shape behind it, copy and paste by doing Command C and then Command B. And what that's doing is creating a shape that's behind this yellow X, and I'm going to turn it to black. And the reason we don't see it is actually because it is actually behind that yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this yellow shape, and what we're dealing with is two black shapes. And we want to basically create them so that they look like they're seamlessly changing together and these nodes are actually connecting. Quick and easy way to do that is using the blend tool. So I'm going to go to the blend tool by going to Object, Blend, Make. And you can see that it just creates a stair-step look where there's only one shape in between. And this is completely customizable. If you go back to the blend tool and you go to blend options, you can turn on preview and say specific steps, for example. And if you do like 255 steps, then it's seamless. Now, it doesn't really stop there. We can create something even more complex, like a shape like this. And the way to do that is, again, starting with two different shapes, actually very identical shapes. You can do different shapes to have an even more complex look, but I'm starting off with two groups here. If I click them and I move them, they all move together. And if you click both of them and you go to the blend tool and go to blend options, this is where you can be more customized. So I'm going to just do 20 steps. And you go to blend again and make. And what's happening there is it's creating 20 different steps in between those two main shapes. And we're kind of creating like this cylinder look. And you can see that it created a line in between it. So I can pull this line and move it to spread out. And let's say I wanted to change the main shape of this. You can actually go to your anchor point tool and change, let's say, the angle. Now we're having something like that. But we also can make it so it's moving along the axis of this shape. And the way to do that is to go back to your blend tool, go to options, and instead of the orientation being aligned to the page, you're aligning to the path. And so now we have like kind of a necklace of some sort. So this shape, just to show you how it was used, we actually created these tubes that are going into a DeLorean for our Back to the Future gatefold. And like I said earlier, you don't have to use the exact same shape duplicated on either side with the blend tool. You could start off with a bigger shape and a smaller shape, and they could be different colors, they can be different shapes for that matter. And what we can do in the blend tool is do like 5 steps, for example, and make. What that creates is a blend with color and size. So this technique is more or less limitless. We've shown you a very small amount of it, but it's already showing that there's so many things to do with the blend tool, and don't just stop with what we've shown you here. You can make anything you really want.